All right, welcome into Gridiron Icon, the podcast, the post-Christmas show, the day after everybody's got presents. We're still in a merry spirit. I am joined by my co-host, number 88, Preston Denard. How are we, man?
My friend, I am quite well, doing great. Merry Christmas to you and a Happy New Year coming up. How are you?
Had an absolutely amazing Christmas. Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just share with our listeners, probably one of the highlights of the holiday season was we had Thanksgiving holiday weekend.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yes, we did. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to have the family all under one roof and all the kids and
man.
Got to see the NFC Championship ring. I got gifts from you.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you tried it on. You know what?
Did.
You're going to have to put those photos up, especially you and I. And that was so cool, man. We had a great time. So thank you for hosting us. Yeah.
That was so much fun. And it is. It's going to go up on the personal Insta and on the podcast sites as well. Lots of fun. So Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Thank you, sir.
This is post Christmas. Your schedule is not changing. A couple of quick, I'm going to say personal notes.
Yeah.
It turns out you called me the other night, and I think this is a really big one for Los Angeles Rams fans, especially since they're doing so great this year, on the verge of winning the NFC West. But for those of us that have been fans for a million years, you called me the other night out of the blue and made my day. You're getting a call from a couple of names. Longtime Rams fans will remember they called you out of the blue. Who called you?
Well, I tell you what, it's a kind of call that once you answer it and you start listening to all the stuff going on in the background, you go, what two drunk clowns are these calling me? and so as we got going, I started noticing it was Vince Ferragamo. He was, hey, PD. Hey, man, how you doing? Merry Christmas to you. And I'm like, what's up, Vinny? And he says, hey, guess what? Got Jackie Slater here. I said, what? And Jackie starts in on me. And once he started, it never stopped. I couldn't even get a word in. I couldn't even throw a flag on the play. I couldn't even contest the whole daggone call. Oh. But it was a wonderful, wonderful, great Christmas present to hear from two former teammates, great players, Hall of Famer in there. And I tell you what, I couldn't have been more happy. And I've been wanting to get a hold of Jackie Ray for the longest, but we had a great time. Now, I can tell you exactly what he started with and where he ended the entire call because he wasn't letting go of it. He went back to 1983. And it was the first question out of his mouth. Preston, I just want to know one thing. Why in the world were you on the field running a route on this play when Gastineau and those guys were just going crazy? And Vince should have known he had the wrong personnel in there in the first place because you were in motion and you were supposed to block Gastineau and turn him in, and I was going to go outside on the pool and get the corner. I couldn't stop. I didn't have a flag to throw. I didn't have any. I said, Jackie Ray, got the wrong guy. It wasn't me going to be blocking Gastineau. And I wasn't on a route. I was on a split far left, but he never stopped. And he just kept going. I just kept laughing. And Vince would chime in. But my friend, it was a wonderful, wonderful call. We must have been on the phone for a good 20 minutes.
Man, I got to tell you, for longtime Rams fans, that is so fun. And by the way, what? You're going to do a crackback block on Mark Gastineau? What?
I think his memory is a little faded there on that because there's no way in a playbook that I still have that has Preston Denard blocking Gastineau. That's for sure.
I mean, come on. You know what's funny is we're watching Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and the tight end. Everybody blocks in this current Rams offense. But I got to tell you, as somebody old enough to remember, I don't want to see you try to block Mark Gastineau. I mean, outrun him? Yeah. I don't know about blocking him.
No, I don't know about blocking him either. And assure you, also another great, I'll say, holiday season gift was the chance to go up to ASU on one of my trips here recently and meet the one and only Hines Ward. And I went up to ASU and I got some good people there I deliver rum cakes to. And so I got there and I went over and saw another Coach Ward who says, hey, I'm Coach Ward. I said, well, you look a little different than the one I'm trying to meet. And he said, you're talking about Hines. Yeah, we'll go get him. He comes down. Man, I kept looking up. And I kept
Really?
I kept looking like this. Hines Ward is a big old dude, and you were just talking about blocking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I understand why DBs feared him. This guy, and you know what? If I haven't sent you the picture, my friend, I'm going to send it to you because
Please.
he towers over me.
Oh, you got to send me that.
Oh, he's just a big dude, great guy, wonderful, wonderful person. And he came downstairs. You know, they're getting ready for their bowl game. Is it Texas they're playing?
Ooh, you're
Yeah.
testing me there.
There you go,
Look
baby.
at that. Look at
at
that. Ah, you're not that much shorter than him. You're right
Oh
in that
yeah,
range. Great shot.
the camera's at an angle, and
Great shot.
But he was so gracious to come down. But we're talking about that blocking and Gastineau and all that. I wasn't the guy.
It was a different era, man. It was a different era.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Man. A lot of fun. Well, that's great. So a lot going on during this holiday season,
Yes.
and I got to tell you, it's almost overwhelming, but it doesn't end here. You were preparing for a very big weekend, my friend, and I feel like this should be highlighted a little bit. It's going to be, certainly we're going to show it off on the social media thingy, but you're preparing to sing the national anthem somewhere. What?
I am. So how this all started, I was a few months ago, we had our New Mexico State Sports Hall of Fame. It's for the entire state, all schools, anybody recognized in it, statewide. And so I sung the national anthem, and the executive director of the New Mexico Bowl that's being played on the 28th here in a couple of days was there, Jeff Symbieta, and I sung the national anthem. He comes up when I was done. He looks out across the audience, and he goes, "Did anybody know Preston can sing?" And I don't go touting it, but there's a reason Sidney, Justin, and the Miracles are chasing me down. And he gave me a call the other day, and his wonderful bride Maury trying to get me to do it. But that's how I got introduced to it. And then the next thing you know, Jeff calls me after the event and says, "Would you do the national anthem at the New Mexico Bowl?" I said, well, I don't mind. He says, "I got somebody slated if you can't do it. It's not a pressure deal." But he says, "I'd love to have you." I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And I did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Outstanding. So practice is tomorrow. They're going to have the jets fly over. I'm going to have my young son record it. And I'm going to go do a bang-up job. Now, Stacy, can I do it in 1 minute and 45 seconds?
Yes, you can.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I got to change the 3-minute version that I practiced.
I mean, you gotta
To put
listen.
it in.
You got to put on some Preston swag on this. I mean, you got to make it. Yeah. Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew, man?
Well, maybe I'll get that 45 off the wall and just show folks. There you go.
Oh yeah. Like, listen, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but for those that don't know, this man can sing, and you can't actually find a project from the Wayback Machine on YouTube where you are singing on an entire album. I think there's like 8-10 tracks on that thing.
Yeah, now you let the bag out, the cat out of the bag, right? As they
Go
say.
find it.
Oh yeah, but it's all good. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be this Saturday, 12 noon. They're gonna have the jets fly over. That's gonna be so cool. I'm trying to overcome this nasal allergy kind of deal real quick. So I've been doctoring up, but you can hear that I'm getting stronger.
Yeah, you sound good. Sound good. All right. Is that a night game? That's on television.
That's 12 noon.
Oh.
Yeah, 12 noon. I guess it's 12:07 start or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, it'll be in the middle of the day.
We will be tuned into that. Boy, that's on Sunday, huh? The 28th.
No, it's supposed to be Saturday, so maybe today's the 26th.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
I am, man, clearly I'm still completely a mess from the holidays. I don't even know what day it is. Absolutely. So Saturday morning, tune in, New Mexico.
Yes.
For Mr. Denard.
Yes.
That is going to be special, man.
It'll be
very,
fun.
very special.
It'll be
lots
fun.
of fun. Are they, in terms of the bowl game itself, how are you involved in any of the other festivities for that thing?
No, just doing the national anthem, and between you and I, if there's another game on, I'm scooting home. I don't even know who's playing. I think TCU and somebody else. I don't know.
Very nice. Well, listen, man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
Excellent.
sir, and if I didn't greet you appropriately, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad to have my co-host on the show this morning. He's asked me all these different questions, but I just wanted you to recognize this one feat. Stacy and I have been doing 2 years worth of shows together.
Is this the anniversary?
Well, not so much the anniversary, but the fact that we just recently met within 2 years physically. So,
true story.
Kudos to you, my friend. Yes, indeed. That was a pleasure. All right.
I love it, man. That's great. I got to tell you, time flies by. Time flies by. It's really something, which made Thanksgiving and the holidays this year really special to have both of our families together. That was fun.
Hey, and you know what? But Thanksgiving was my birthday.
Oh, yes. I forgot it. Yes.
69, baby.
Come on.
Is this 69?
No.
Is it?
I hope. Listen. There's a joke here. You and I walk into a bar, and they take a guess at who looks older. It ain't going to be you.
Oh my!
It's absolutely unbelievable.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh my goodness! No one's going to go. That guy's the 69-year-old. Nope, no chance.
That's it. Yeah, I got a little bit of white hair, but you got a whole lot.
I got you beat.
You got me beat, brother.
It's all shot.
Love it. It's all you. It's all you.
My goodness. Well, let's talk about some of what's going on in the world of sports.
Yes.
There's been a lot since we last came on pre-holiday.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, there's been a lot going on, particularly with our Los Angeles Rams. Unbelievable.
Yes.
They have a chance if they can knock the Cardinals off this weekend. The Los Angeles Rams are going to win the NFC West. And actually, it may get some help tonight at the time of this recording if the Seahawks lose.
Well, that is true. I'm not going to hold tight on that. I'm just going to expect them to pull that thing out. They are playing really good ball right now. There was a time you and I wouldn't have been able to have this conversation. But we are at that point, and I'm so excited about it because, hey, the blue and gold is going to be in that puppy, and you never know what can happen once you get to playoffs because you and I both know it's a different season when the playoffs start.
Oh, yeah, it's a whole new season.
Yeah.
Whole new season, and the Rams look like a tough out right now. And, man, alive, they've been winning every which way but possible. Some of it really ugly.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. They won.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed this 8 weeks ago.
No, you wouldn't. And you know what else? It's going to bring something back to you. That 9-7 season we had back in '79 was not a pretty one either. But there was a group of guys in those Rams outfits that took it all the way to the big game. So this could be the second coming of that effort.
And absolutely one ugly in the playoffs. Frank Corral, Tampa Bay, 3 field goals. I mean, anything is possible. So I couldn't be more excited to watch this.
Oh, yeah.
And really, this is also a revenge game against the Cardinals this weekend because they really took us to the woodshed to start the season. So this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I don't know if you got a chance to see this, speaking of the Rams and Ramsland for a few minutes here. Did you see the promotional advertising efforts for the Kenny Washington jersey?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
The Rams, as an organization, brought back all the great Rams running backs. They brought back Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk, Steven Jackson, and Todd Gurley. And, of course, you could have added other names to that.
Oh, heck yeah.
I mean, those are the 4 big ones, but you could have added a Wendell Tyler, a Lawrence
Heck
McCutcheon.
yeah. Why wouldn't you add a
Greg Bell.
GB, yeah.
Charles White, rest in peace. Lots of names there. Really cool promotion on the Kenny Washington promotion. Yeah, they released a jersey with Mitchell and Ness, and it just, God, they did a fantastic job with that.
Well, they will falter if they don't have this guy in the loop. Dick Bass, 22. They don't have him on the list. They are doing this whole thing wrong because not that he unseats others, but he is certainly worthy of the inclusion.
Oh my God, that would have been fantastic. Bring back a real old timer.
Oh yeah,
they went back with Marshall and Dickerson and Jackson. Even Todd Gurley now has been gone a couple seasons, but that's a good point. Dick Bass. I mean, there's so many names that could fit in that Ram stable of running backs. But I was pretty excited to see those 4 guys together in one room. If you haven't seen that, the Rams did a really nice job with that whole honoring
I
Kenny
haven't seen
Washington.
it. I need to. You need to tell me where to go to find that.
Yeah, just go to the Rams website. They've got
Okay.
and they've got all sorts of stuff on YouTube
Okay.
with the four guys talking about Kenny Washington honoring first black player.
Yeah. Yes. Outstanding.
Amazing
Kudos
job.
to him for doing that too.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I want to see him now. Let's do one for the wide receivers. Let's do one for the DBs. I mean, what about the Rams defensive line? Let's get Rosie Greer and Jack Youngblood.
Hey, don't get me
Aaron
started.
Donald.
Oh yeah.
I know.
You can go on forever in that list.
Yeah, I would really like to see them do more of that, particularly since LA is still fighting the old too many other fans from other cities coming to every game.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get back into it. Well, hey, let's talk about what's going on in the NFL a little bit for the rest of this episode. There's been a lot of storylines this year. I thought we just kind of hit on a couple of them, get your thoughts on them. I think the big one going on today after yesterday's games on Netflix is the MVP race in the NFL. And
Done.
I know you think it's done.
Done.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're not saying Josh Allen of the Bills. You think?
Be nice if you just wanted to give somebody a bone. But who's going to unseat your guy?
Oh,
Lamar Jackson.
I don't know how you.
How do you do it?
Yeah, I don't know how you can't. My heart, frankly speaking, strictly from the emotional fan perspective, is I'd really like to see Jared Goff be honored because he has had an incredible season.
Oh yeah.
But how do you not give it to Lamar Jackson at this point?
Well,
I
and
don't
you
know
know
that
what?
that's possible.
You know, it is a tough choice. But if anybody has, shall I say, the chance to be the outsider looking in, you wouldn't have believed I would have said Jared Goff.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think, Josh is really having a heck of a year.
He is,
But Josh is consistently having heck of years the past 2 years, and he's always going to be in that limelight of Lamar Jackson. But somebody that's not in that region, someone that's a little bit further out, maybe Central America, maybe a darling child of a team you wouldn't expect, look what he's doing. And I always told my son, PJ, he's got a nice photo of him, Jared Goff. They took at the stadium once. I took him to the game a few years ago when he was with the Rams. And I always told him, I said, you know what? Jared went out of his way to address you. There's a lot of guys that don't do that. And I said, besides his skill set, he's also a hell of a gentleman. And I said, he's going to go a long way, and he deserves everything he's going to get. Well, he didn't go hurt himself. He went and upgraded his game. He surrounded himself with players that can take him to the next level. And the kid's a legitimate contender because, boy, wouldn't it be nice to see the Rams and the Lions go at it in that NFC Conference Championship if that was designed that way. I think Jared Goff is really the surprise runner in this, but you cannot overlook Lamar Jackson. He's just having that hell of a season, and he's a great player. He's unorthodox. He's all the things that everybody thought he wasn't, but he is. He is that guy.
Well, and the knock on him for so many, I can't even believe we're saying there's a knock on a guy who's been a 2-time MVP already.
Right.
I think if he wins this one, and I'm going to go on record saying he should, it's just, and there's so many good performances this year. You mentioned Jared. That's where I'd like to see Goff get it. But I don't know how you even begin to dismiss what Lamar Jackson's doing. The big knock on him for so many years has been he's not a good passer.
Yeah.
He's got 39 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, folks.
Yeah.
And he beat Michael Vick's all-time rushing record for rushing quarterbacks last night.
Yeah. Durable.
What did he do?
Dependable. Oh, yeah. He's strong.
Yeah.
He's athletic. He's also intelligent. He knows how and when to make the right plays, whether throwing the ball or using his legs. And let me tell you, he may look back there like, who is this guy throwing this sidearm kind of release kind of throw? Who is doing? They're not saying anything about that kid over in Kansas City doing all that mess.
Yeah.
But Lamar Jackson, doesn't matter what year it is, game in and game out, he consistently plays well. And right when his critics in the beginning of the season begin to come down on him, he starts turning it on. And he starts getting warmer. Then he gets hot. And now he's at the face of the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get them all the way there this time.
Yeah, I'm not either. I won't be surprised this time. They feel different when you watch them. Watching him last night, now granted the Texans had a terrible game last night.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud's really struggling in his sophomore year. But when you watch Lamar, he looks almost like he's toying with people on a couple of those runs last night. And he even came out and said this morning, I was jogging. He was running he looks like he's running a 4.240. He's just running. He's the quarterback, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Oh, he's talented. Just a talented guy.
Unbelievable. So I think at this point, unless something just collapses over the next week or two, I don't see how Lamar doesn't get it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Josh Allen has had a nice season. Patrick Mahomes has had another one of his nice seasons.
Yeah.
And Jared Goff, I would love to see him win. Now, I will say this. I do really hope that if Goff doesn't, and he won't, win MVP, I really hope he gets the Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
Yeah. I agree.
He does a ton of stuff in inner city Detroit.
That's
and
what I
the
love
Bay
about
Area.
him. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I love about him. And he's that kind of guy. You know, when I mentioned earlier when he met my son, he just out of the blue walked up to him and just graciously, only because that was the day I was being recognized by the Rams in the stadium. Nice. And we walked around. Jared was there in the end zone. And he saw me with my boy and he says, hey, come here. And I took photos of those two together. Yeah, he's got it on his wall right now. That was the makings and the design of a young man that has a heart for what this game means for people in the community. And certainly for him to be recognized for the Walter Payton Award. Of course, I was twice nominated for it. I know what it means. Cool. I know how exciting it was for me to be a part of that journey. But yes, I think if there's a greater candidate, certainly recognize him, but I think it's Jared Goff's time. He is really invested in the communities. He's invested in his game. And everything around him, he has lifted to another level. And what a great guy to be around, too. Very talented, smart, people person, and just got a demeanor where he's very inviting to folks. Yeah,
that's great. I learned something new. I did not know that you had met him with BJ.
Oh, yeah.
And I also didn't know that you were 2-time nominated for Walter Payton Man of the Year. I'm not surprised. That's super cool, man.
Yeah, I was surprised. The Rams I got nominated twice, and I guess I was in the final runnings for both years. You got to figure out why I didn't make it.
Yeah. 32 teams. Oh, back then it probably wasn't 32. Was there?
28.
28 teams, right?
Yeah, 28 teams.
Wow, man. I agree. When it comes to accolades, I'd like to see the good guy. Little known fact, Jared Goff's father was the big man in town when I was in junior high school. He was the high school stud athlete.
Really?
Yeah, Jerry Goff was the man in our little town in the Bay Area.
I love that.
Yeah, he was the stud athlete there in Marin County, and so I've got a soft spot for Jared Goff. I think he's a good dude.
Excellent.
But yeah, I think Lamar's going to win this thing going away. I don't think there's anything you could say about that. What do you think at this point in the season? We're getting to the end here. Do you have your eye on anybody for Defensive Player of the Year award, or what about Defensive Rookie of the Year?
That's
our
tough
guy,
too.
Jared Verse, man, if he can put on a show Saturday.
I think he is a front runner, not because, our love for the blue and gold and all that, but I think he's a front runner. What talented group this rookie class is this year.
It is.
I mean, it's tough. You got like 3 or 4 guys on the defensive side that automatically are just, I don't think it is as tough as the MVP consideration in the league. But one thing's for sure, you got some young, even on the offensive side, a couple of running backs there. You got a very talented rookie class this year, so it's going to be tough all the way around.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, I would be remiss in closing here if I did not mention this guy in terms of the MVP race. What Saquon Barkley has done this year is nuts. Like he's over 1,800 yards Do you think he can catch Eric?
I hope he does.
Oh,
I really hope he does. Because,
yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's what records are all about.
Yeah.
Eric's had a nice run.
Oof,
Okay.
long time.
And he did it at a time when people weren't ready for somebody to do that. And Eric, just with the skill set and the talents he had, he was able to captivate that one moment. You know, he didn't come close since that point, but it was a great timing. It's run its course. I think the efforts and then you know what? I'll tell you what. You mess around, and the difference between Lamar and Saquon is the team. Because Lamar will take his team to the next level. You know, they're having a tough time right there in Philly. But you have to separate Saquon from all other categories with the exploits of his skill set this season. Just tremendously wonderful. And on top of that, folks would have thought he was done. And he just ignited himself in the trade going to Philadelphia. What a great, great cause. I think he can do it. And I tell you what, it will be wonderful for the game if he did do it. And then all of a sudden, you got another stronger candidate to push Lamar for the MVP.
Yeah. I mean, I really think we'd just be insane if we didn't mention that. This is this is how I think it breaks down. I think Lamar gets MVP. I think Saquon gets Offensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Jared Goff get Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got it.
Defensive Player of the Year. I'm out on that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I do think Jared Verse, if he could put on a show against Kyler Murray Saturday, will lock up Defensive Rookie of the Year. But him and Braden Fisk are neck and neck. The old teammates from Florida State are neck and neck in sacks and pressures.
Yeah.
They play on the same line.
Isn't that something?
Crazy.
Oh, it's unreal. But yeah, you got to love it. You got to love it. And I think truly, you know, when you talk about the rookies on the defensive side, he's probably the most attractive one. Now, there were a couple of DBs that I thought would really make a lot greater noise. And then what's the kid from Alabama? I think it's Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Oh, yeah. He's in New Orleans.
Oh, no, I thought he would make a little bit more noise. Is he not with the Jets or he's with New Orleans? I can't remember. But anyway, I thought he would make some noise. Yeah, but you can't go past first. I mean, that separates everybody else.
That pressure in the quarterback stuff, the sacks and pressures, usually gets that done, unless you've got a DB who's just lined up the picks. The two DBs in Philadelphia, Quinion, his name escapes me, and DeJean have put on quite a show too for Philly, but I don't think they can pass Verse. If Verse can get a couple of sacks on Saturday, I think he gets it done.
Yep, that's true. That is true.
Gotta love it.
And then my good dig of the day of the show.
Oh.
No flags on this, brother, let me tell you. The heck's wrong with the America's so-called team? They can't figure out they can't figure out if they're playing football or not.
That, I tell you what, Dallas is a disaster.
And I apologize for bringing it up, but I just love hearing you say Dallas is a disaster.
They're just a hot mess. I mean, you knew when Dak got injured, that was over. You know, they won the other day, which was a shocker in its own right. Yep. But I got to tell you, man, listen, before I give my opinion, and we'll close on this note. Yeah. What do you think the problem is in Dallas?
All of it. And all of it for sure, but it starts at the top. If he could find his way, and everybody knows who we're talking about, if he could find his way to stay out of stuff, he might have a really good team that can compete in the playoffs. But, you know, when you got an opinion as an owner, and you are the top dog of that organization, and you got players who are emotional players, I mean, you look at his players, they're in disarray. Oh. They are just all over the place. I can tell you this, Stacy, the game is not the game I knew. A lot of people ask you, what's different about the game? It's attitude. That's the only thing. Attitude gets in the way of great play. Attitude gets in the way of great competitiveness. Attitude gets in the way of really enjoying your favorite athlete.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
When they're in a miserable boat like that, they all sink.
Yep. Yeah, and you can see it. the body language, the faces. If you watch the game, there's some guys really fighting. The Dowdle, the kid that plays running back. There's some guys that want to be there, but boy, does that is a stinky situation. It always runs uphill. It's a leadership. Look at Detroit. Do you know the owner for Detroit? No, we never see the family at all.
We know who they are. But
Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are the guy. It's just unreal. That guy loves the spotlight. Let me talk all about my hot mess.
Oh my God! And I'll end my thought with this. My boy PJ, he's getting married soon, and he wants to move out to Texas. And he says, "Dad, you should come out there. You should come out there." I said, "Dude, I wouldn't put a foot in Texas other than to create business." But I am not living in Texas and hearing all those Cowboy fans moan and groan. I love it from afar.
Yeah. Many of us do, whether it's them or the 49ers, who I'm not feeling sorry for at all in 2024.
I'm right with you, brother. I'm right with you.
I love it. Well, good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, man.
It is great to put one in the can here. We're going to get back in the saddle on this little show as we enter 2025. Got some fun things planned as we keep teasing. But we really appreciate all those folks who are listening and watching on YouTube and all that good stuff. Excellent. Well, enjoy the games this weekend. We look forward to seeing you sing that national anthem.
Yes, looking forward to that. Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun, my friend.
Cannot wait to see it. Tune in, folks, Saturday morning.
Yes, indeed. New Mexico Bowl.
New Mexico Bowl. Excellent. Well, until next week, for myself and my co-host, Preston Denard, thanks for joining us here on Gridiron Icon. Enjoy the holidays. Be safe, and we'll see you soon.